today.
The road is calling, and now you'll be able to answer. Because at Cadillac, we are committed to keeping you moving by giving you the option to shop online and take delivery at home where available. And if your vehicle needs service, our certified service experts are ready to help. Schedule your appointment at Cadillac.com. Cadillac, we have your back. Current eligible lessees get this low mileage lease on this 2020 Cadillac XT6 for around $499 per month. Visit Cadillac.com for assistance.
If spending more time with your floor has been hard on your floor, it's not that hard to change it with the Home Depot. Just figure out how much you need, order the exact style you want online, and get it delivered, and install it with the help of our installation guide. Make your flooring life-proof. Make it waterproof. And a lot better to spend time with. Save on top flooring brands like Lifeproof and Pergo on HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Come now, set the best on fire. Stand up, raise your face to the skies, my love. Together, we can take it higher. Together, we can take it higher. Come now, set the best on fire. Stand up, raise your face to the skies, my love. Together, we can take it higher. We can take it higher.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and I wish I could tell you how I feel about a morning like this. And that includes a good hearty breakfast. You need something to kind of warm the whole body up and get it going. It's a great way to kick off your day.
Ta-da! Did you know Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
I should get a quote.
Do it.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I wanted more from my COPD medicine. That's why I've got the power of 1, 2, 3 medicines with Trelegy. The only FDA-approved once daily 3-in-1 COPD treatment.
Trelegy, the power of 1, 2, 3. Trelegy, 1, 2, 3. Trelegy.
With Trelegy and the power of 1, 2, 3, I'm breathing better. Trelegy works 3 ways to open airways, keep them open, and reduce inflammation for 24 hours of better breathing.
Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Trelegy is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Think your COPD medicine is doing enough? Maybe you should think again.
Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy. We know times are hard, and we're here for you. Find support at Trelegy.com.
To 36 hours. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson. We've got live team coverage along the Gulf Coast and here in studio. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, with us, along with Chris Bruin, meteorologist for Alicia Combs, and Mike Seidel. They are scattered along the Gulf Coast. We'll get out to them in just a moment. But Dr. Knabb, let's start with what the very latest is with this storm. It's a large storm, so we're already beginning to feel the effects.
Yeah, we've got a lot of bad weather in Florida, especially central to northern Florida. We've had tornado warnings, and we've still got some very heavy rainfall. Got a flash flood warning I'll share with you in just a little bit. So here's the center of circulation. But weather-wise, this has been the center of action, this big band way off to the east. But there's a lot of wind and a lot of weather to come that's in between. And the winds of tropical storm force from southwest to northeast extend about 400 miles. So this is a large system, even though the center of circulation is still way off to the south. Conditions deteriorating on the northern Gulf Coast as tonight goes on. The visible imagery shows how you can see the exposed low-level swirl, but there's some thunderstorms perking up at times near the center. But even in the dry slot, there is some strong wind. Okay, now here's that band that extends from western Cuba all the way up through Tampa, and then there's some bands even in advance of that continue to plague the area just east of Ocala. That's kind of where we've had some tornado warnings just along the east of I-75, and we still have a flash flood warning in Bellevue, Florida, in Marion County until 8:45 local time. Locally, near half a foot of rainfall in this area, and there's still more on the way. This is what the outer bands of a storm like this can do and cause big-time flooding way away from the center. Now, as the bands on the northern side start to come ashore more frequently on the northern Gulf Coast, tomorrow night into Monday morning, this is the area where flash flooding is likely, especially Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Pascagoula, Biloxi, up getting close to Jackson when we talk about Monday, and then that will extend northward into places like Little Rock, with the flood risk going up into Missouri, even Illinois. The rainfall totals, we can't pinpoint who's going to get exactly what, but the potential is there for somebody isolated to get a foot of rain. And when you consider that in Florida here, we've had a half a foot today, it's not out of the question at all with a 2-day duration of an event to get 8 to 12 inches locally. That model depiction of nearly a foot has been bouncing around. Sometimes it's been over New Orleans. We don't know who's going to get the worst, but the threat is there in both of the models with a lot of rainfall, eastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. But then it's not over. You take this big low, you move it northward through the Mississippi Valley. We're going to get 5 to 8 inches locally along a corridor somewhere there in Arkansas, Missouri, up into Iowa, as a lot of moisture is flung up through the Mississippi Valley. These systems don't just go away when they make landfall. That's just the beginning. Now, we do have hurricane hunters out there. The NOAA plane has been getting winds closer to maybe 55 miles an hour on their instrument that can estimate surface wind speed. So maybe at the intermediate public advisory, depending on when the Hurricane Center does, this might go up, but they're forecasting it to go up. By tomorrow evening, we have a tropical storm, maybe around 60 miles an hour maximum winds. But Alex, we've been saying it over and over again, not just inside, but way outside the cone, not just coastal, but inland as well.
Yeah, but this is one that's going to be, as we said, entirely survivable. You just got to be smart with this one.
Mainly staying out of the water, whatever kind.
Absolutely. And water could extend well away from this. We're going to break down the flood threat in just a minute, but I want to get you closer to the coast, Louisiana coast in particular. Storm surge an issue. Of course, the flooding rainfall there as well. Meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Grand Isle. Mike, a lot of threats on the table for you. You've seen the winds pick up, again, the push of salt water, and then the freshwater flooding too.
Yeah, we have seen the water try to go out, but it can't because the wind is blowing onshore or just a little off from the onshore direction, and that is piling the water up. So as a result, even though we're heading towards low tide this evening, we're seeing most of the beach underwater. Now look at the surf off the coast. Boy, these are some big waves. We're talking wave heights running as much as 10 feet. I checked the buoy off the coast, and it's 9.8 feet. And as far as the wind goes, winds off the coast have already gusted as high as 51 miles an hour. So we're getting up there, but here on the land, peak wind gusts have only been about 38 miles an hour. That's about 15 miles away. So we're going to be watching the water continue to rise. High tide tomorrow morning at 10:55 is the tide of concern, because they're going to have the push of the water along with the high tide, and there is a storm surge watch here. Water levels could be anywhere from 2 to 4 feet above average right now. Last time I checked, the water is about 1.6 feet higher than it should be. But in the meantime, the wind will continue to ramp up. We've got squalls. Look at the radar now. The squalls that we're watching that could impact us here in a couple of hours are well off to our south and east. They're going to come in here this evening, and that's when we get those rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches. And with those squalls, we will easily have tropical storm force wind gusts. The island, pretty good shape right now. The beachfront properties here are behind this large area of sea oats and grass, and then there's a berm, there's a levee. You can see it goes up about 10 feet. So that's going to keep the water out of these buildings and off most of Louisiana US 1. But they've got pumps, 8 pumps up and running to pump the water out once the wind backs off. It's going to take a while. In fact, we talked to the mayor earlier. It may take as much as 3 days to get all the water out of all the areas, especially on the other side of the island. Let's go back inland now, well west of New Orleans. Not worried about surge there, Chris Bruin, but more about the inland flood threat. And there is a flood watch up into Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. This is what we do at the Weather Channel. We want to show you all aspects of the storm. So it's not just the center. You're going to see far-reaching effects, especially east of the center, but also on the west side. What does a tropical system look like in all of its, entirety? Well, we do our best to spread out to show you different locations and what it actually looks like. We're here in New Iberia, Louisiana. It's about 20 miles south of Lafayette. So that's kind of the major city here in central Louisiana. We're not too concerned with Cristobal. We know we are going to have thunderstorms. We know we're going to have gusty winds, nothing we can't handle. But because of our positioning to where the center of the storm is going to be, that's really going to help us out, especially when it comes to storm surge and even rainfall. We'll have rain, but not as much as what we'll see farther east. There's a look at the weather conditions. Partly cloudy skies. We've had a couple of brief showers, not even real thunderstorms, but we'll see more of this as we go through the overnight. Tomorrow will be much more cloudy, and also winds will start picking up. We drove down to the coast, and if you're not familiar with Louisiana, it's not like what you think of when you think of Florida Gulf Coast. There's not a lot of sandy beaches. You have a lot of sugarcane fields, a lot of marshland and bayous. It's very swampy. So there's a few little beach towns where people like to reside. We went to Sippermore Point. That's about 20 miles to our south. And we talked to a longtime resident. He's the local icon here, Don Moe. And he's lived there nearly 16 years and has been through some of the worst that Southwest Louisiana has had to offer, including Rita. Here's what he had to say about life on the Gulf Coast.
We can do it our eyes closed. We're so used to hurricane prep. And then, like, if I'm through, it's like it's a close-knit coastal community. When I'm through, hey, my neighbor across the street, you need some help? Hey, can you come help me with this? So, sir, yesterday I helped 2 guys pull out some big offshore boats and put them on the trailer just in case. So, everybody helps everybody. So it's kind of cool.
Love that mentality here. And that's just one of many communities on the Louisiana Gulf Coast. This is part of their life. They're used to storms coming through. With this storm in particular, we notice a lot of people kind of clearing out the lower level of their home. All the homes, by the way, especially on the water or near low-lying areas, they're elevated. And they need to be about 13 to 14 feet high. That's the code. And, it's interesting. Throughout the show, Alex, we're going to get to hear a lot of little segments from Don Moe. He had a whole hurricane marker. Rita was taller than my head. And that was the notorious storm here for this part of the state. Thankfully, Cristobal is not going to be anything like Rita, certainly here in this part of Louisiana. But it's just interesting. So many factors on how insurance goes compared to the guidelines. And if your home is higher than that, you get better insurance rates. If it's lower than that, you have higher insurance for every foot below those guidelines. So it's very interesting the way of life here on the Gulf Coast of Louisiana.
Well, it's funny, like a true hurricane expert, Dr. Knabb picked up on that. He said, I love the surge markers on that sign next to him. So I'm excited we get to learn a little bit more about that. Chris Bruin, thank you so much. I want to head to the east of where Chris is. Again, he's just to the south of Lafayette, Louisiana. Felicia Combs, our meteorologist, is in Biloxi, Mississippi. Felicia, been there a few times for storm coverage. It's a great community, a real hot spot this time of year, but obviously the weather less than ideal for, a trip to Biloxi, maybe hanging out inside the casinos.
Yeah, Alex, and it's so crazy that you would say that, because that is exactly what we were just talking about. Yesterday we talked with the mayor, and he said, things are starting to get kind of back into swing, and then here we come with this tropical system that's kind of putting a damper on the weekend. So Biloxi truly is a water city. Behind me, you'll see some of the boats, some pleasure boats, some charter boats as well. We spoke with one charter boat owner who said they were kind of trying to get things back into swing, and then of course this is coming, dealing with the pandemic, and then on top of this tropical system. Not just pleasure boats, though. This is also, we should have had the blessing of the fleet this weekend for the shrimping boats and the fishing boats. We should be kicking off the shrimping season. That's not happening. So that's another thing that's being impacted by Cristobal this weekend. And then we've also got, as you mentioned, Alex, this is a playground. They call it the playground of the South. You're looking at those purple windows. You might recognize them. You might not. That's the Hard Rock there. And we've spoken to some people who were there, and they're kind of hanging out there. And they said there are quite a bit of people there. But of course, they're stuck inside the casinos at this point because, the weather has not been that great. Now, right now, we're getting a bit of a break in the rain, and that's the good news. But things are really going to begin to deteriorate here in Biloxi as we head through the night tonight and into your Sunday. The current radar, you can see we've got quite a bit of rain just offshore, but the break that we're getting right now isn't going to continue to last. We had heavy rain earlier, so we got a little bit of a taste of it earlier. Not just that, though, but the winds are going to continue to pick up. We could see tropical storm force winds, hence the tropical storm warning. Right now, sustained winds above 10 miles per hour. We're going to continue to see those picking up. And then, of course, not just the rain flooding a possibility, but storm surge also a danger here for Biloxi because there's just so much water around. Guys.
All right, thank you, Felicia. Yeah, the Mississippi coast has a lot to contend with, not just the storm surge, but the heavy rainfall and some strong winds. You're under storm surge warning, tropical storm warning, flash flood watch. You get the picture. Big storm like this is starting to cause the conditions to deteriorate on the northern Gulf Coast. The winds are picking up. The buoy just offshore there, gusting to 36, gusting to 45 at the buoy just north of the center. So those strong winds are coming, and they occupy a large area. So once it starts, it's going to last a long time. These are not tropical storm conditions, but gusting near 30 miles an hour at Grand Isle and New Orleans. That's a taste of things to come. We've had gusts up to 30 at Pensacola. And look at that wind that's blowing toward the west. That is going to pile up the water there in that shape of the coastline where southeast Louisiana meets the Mississippi coast. That's going to be the catcher's mitt. It's going to capture all of that salt water. That's why we got the storm surge warning in that particular area. It includes Biloxi and Gulfport and Long Beach and past Christiana and Waveland, and it's outside the risk reduction system in New Orleans. City of New Orleans not in that warning. Now, these values are roughly an idea of how high the salt water is above normally dry ground near the coast. The values are really small right now because we're going into low tide, but that's going to change tomorrow morning. Late tonight is low tide. Late tomorrow morning is high tide. That is when we could have a combination of the onshore push being strongest when the storm is just to our south and the high tide. So 3 to 5 feet above normally dry ground is the storm surge flooding that's expected somewhere in that area between the mouth of the Mississippi River and the Biloxi area. Now, I wanted to highlight a historical fact that should give you concern on the Mississippi coast. When Tropical Storm Isidore made landfall in 2002 in this same general area as a tropical storm of about the strength that Cristobal was forecast to be, and it was a large system that had spent some time over Yucatan, there was a storm surge fatality on the coast of Mississippi, someone in a parking lot near a casino in their car, and they died in the storm surge. We mean business here. This can be life-threatening. Don't let history repeat itself. And again, tomorrow morning is when the high tide in places like Dauphin Island and Grand Isle are going to be maximized. And when you look at what's the storm going to be doing late tomorrow morning? It could be just to the south, and that's when the onshore push is going to be maximized. So late tomorrow morning, that's the real danger time. But you got to get out of these danger areas tonight because the winds of tropical storm force will be arriving tonight, and you want to be in your safe place and out of those storm surge prone locations before you go to bed tonight. And by the way, this coastal problem, Alex, isn't just the storm surge. It's the high rip current risk at the beaches that will last all the way into Sunday, even Monday. So salt water is a problem. Yeah. Fresh water is a problem. It's not just about the wind.
Yeah, and I don't want you to be at one of those Tampa beaches, see things clear out, and think Monday, all right, let's all get in and swim, because there could still be some issues. Speaking of Tampa, what do you say we look at the future radar around the city? Because heavy rain will continue for you as we head into the overnight and throughout the day tomorrow. It'll be off and on, but when you get those rain showers, they could be coming down in buckets. That's why the flood risk extends along the Gulf Coast into Florida and actually well inland. We'll break that down as our coverage continues next.
Hey, take a Bud Light Seltzer.
Yeah, sure thing.
What's this?
It's Bud Light Seltzer Mango.
Sip initiated.
Shall we like it?
Commencing happy face.
Oh, too much. Bud Light Seltzer, available for delivery.
I like Liberty Mutual. They get that no two people are alike. And customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. What do you think?
I don't see it. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Our Hillshire Farm craftsmen start the day slow roasting turkey for incredible flavor. Then they double seal every slice for freshness. The results? Well, they speak for themselves.
Domino's is serious about food safety. That's why your pizza stays untouched after baking at 450 degrees. And now that every delivery is contactless, you can safely mix and match any two or more for just $5.99 each when you sit around the table, even if it's not the same table.
We all know someone who brings us joy when we need it most. Through smiles, laughter, and the totally unexpected. At Lay's, we call them joy givers, and we're here to celebrate them. So help us find the joy givers in your community. They're everywhere, and they're everything we need right now. Share their stories using #JoyGivers. For every post, Lay's will donate $50 to Feeding America, up to $1 million.
A migraine hope from Aimovig to show up for the sweet, the hectic, the tender, the tense, the frustrating, and the fiery. But for many, migraine keeps them from saying, I am here. We aim to change that with Aimovig, a preventive treatment for migraine in adults. One dose once a month is proven to reduce monthly migraine days, for some by half or more. Don't take Aimovig if you're allergic to it. Allergic reactions like rash or swelling can happen hours to days after use. Severe constipation can happen, sometimes with serious complications. Common side effects include injection site reactions and constipation. It doesn't matter what each day brings, so long as you can say, I am here. Aim to be there more. Talk to your doctor about Aimovig.
Discover what's possible for summer at Lowe's.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water. Look for kids packs from Nestle Pure Life. Fun designs and a perfect size just for your kids.
Searching for a bumper cover replacement after yours disappeared on the freeway? Got it. What about that driver's side mirror that just fell off when you backed out of the garage? Got it. Or a taillight your brother-in-law broke with his bad golf swing? Got it. At CarParts.com, we know the most important part of all is the one you need to get your car back on the road. We carry a huge inventory of parts, even collision parts, with savings of up to 50% off. All delivered to your door and covered by our 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get the right part for the right price right now at CarParts.com.
This is Kate. Hey. She takes 2 prescriptions. Kate's son Jack takes 1 too. Kate works hard and thought she had good insurance, but she still pays too much. That's no good. So Kate downloaded the GoodRx app. Now she can compare prescription prices to find the best discounts. She even beats her insurance price. Good for you, Kate. Good for you. GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
Everything is almost cloud-free at this point. Plus, it's not cold at all. We're drying out and even warming up. We love it that way.
Better days start with the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 70 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 57, south-southeast winds, shifting to north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny skies, high 80. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Sunday night, mainly clear and windy, low 59. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, an early, busy start for the hurricane hunters. Season kicked off, Monday, June 1st? Hasn't even been a week. And we've got a tropical storm. They have been out there flying through it. You're looking at that flight over the Gulf of Mexico. They're getting really important information, gives the forecasters everything they need to know as far as the data with this storm so they can make the most accurate forecast. So they're doing really important work. Hats off to those hurricane hunters, the guys and gals getting out into the storm. Right now, we're looking at a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. This is Cristobal. We've got pressure of 994 millibars. This is moving north, 12 miles per hour. You can see very east loaded. We have seen rain. We have seen water spouts. We have seen storms, even tornado warnings as far east as the Orlando, Florida area today. So a lot of rainfall likely from Florida all the way over into parts of Louisiana, and that will also extend inland. So I don't want you to look at this thing and go, I'm not on the coast, I'm not in the cone, I don't have any problems. That's not the case because this is such a large system with a lot of action on the east side. Here is that cone, but again, this is the center of circulation and where it will go. It does not mean if you're outside of this, say Mobile or Biloxi, that you're not going to see anything. In fact, you could still be dealing with surge, strong winds, and very, very heavy rainfall rates. You can see the track takes this thing into northern Louisiana, into Arkansas, and then Dr. Knapp, parts of the Midwest. So there's going to be a flood threat, not just along the coast, but we're talking like Wisconsin, and people in Wisconsin are going, whoa, what, me and a tropical system? This could really bring problems.
Yeah, big system like that going inland, It's not just going to go away, and it's going to bring all of its moisture northward. And it's going to be a 2-day event for some of you from start to finish when you consider that the Louisiana coastline starting to rain now, and it's going to take into Monday before that ends. It's very northeast loaded right now, but you're getting some thunderstorms perking up near the center too. So it's not like there's nothing going on near the center, but most of the action on land today has been in Florida, and you've got some thunderstorms coming in a band just north of Fort Myers going up through Tampa, and we've got a flash flood warning still in effect in Bellevue, Florida, southeast of Ocala. This is in effect till 8:45 local time. It has been training this main band right between Leesburg and Ocala. Last hour, more than 2 inches of rain east of Ocala. Last 6 hours, we're getting a little bullseye there of about 6 inches. So it's been raining an inch an hour on average for 6 hours. So if you don't believe these 6 to 12 inch rainfall forecasts for Louisiana, Mississippi, why not when you see what happens in Florida? Now, if this model is right and that northern side really starts to perk up tonight, then it'll start raining heavily overnight tonight in New Orleans and coastal Mississippi, and eventually tomorrow late morning, maybe in Baton Rouge, and you'll have multiple rounds of training thunderstorms. And that's just the north side. Then you get landfall the center, and then you might have some more on the south and southeast side as this moves on by. So when you count all the raindrops, there are going to be a whole heck of a lot of them, right? We just don't know exactly who's going to get the highest totals. Somebody could get isolated numbers up to about a foot of rain, and the model has been jumping around on where that occurs, but Baton Rouge, New Orleans at risk, all the southern coastal counties of Mississippi at risk, Mobile is at risk, Jackson, Mississippi certainly, and that's just the southern end of all of this. As Alex was mentioning, this is all going to be headed inland through Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota is going to get some of the moisture, at least indirectly related to this. And 5 to 8 inches of rain in some spots is within the realm of possibility. Now, let's time this out. Who's at risk for flooding? Because that's what really matters with the rainfall. Tonight into tomorrow morning, northern portions of the Florida Peninsula and along the Panhandle coast starting to get into coastal Louisiana, Mississippi. But tomorrow night into Monday morning is probably the biggest risk time for New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And then Monday night, Tuesday morning, Jackson, Mississippi up through Little Rock. Don't drive your car onto any water-covered road. We don't want to lose people in this system, Alex.
Yeah, I think, a lot of the threats we talk about are very preventable. It's things like rip currents. It's things like flash flooding. So make smart decisions.
Yeah, and anytime you get in the water, whether it's the ocean or a flooded road, you are putting yourself at risk. And then as we saw in the rip current, you're making somebody come and get you.
Right.
And that happens inland too.
Yeah. So we want to keep everybody safe through this. This is something we can all get ourselves through. Out west, we've got severe weather. So we take a little bit of a timeout from Cristobal and we take you to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So you're like, wait a second, I'm in this. No, you're not. You've got a whole different ball game to deal with. And that is severe weather. We've got a line of severe thunderstorms from Colorado into Wyoming, portions of Nebraska and South Dakota getting in on this as well. So you can can see nearly a continuous line of severe thunderstorm warnings from the Montana-Wyoming state line down into parts of southeastern Colorado. There is a little break in between there into southeastern parts of Wyoming. Tons of lightning, gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour with these. I want you to be aware of that threat. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for many of these locations until 8 o'clock local time. This includes locations like Denver, like western Nebraska, western South Dakota. You can see it really is more portions of Nebraska and South Dakota that we're watching moving forward. So less a Wyoming, Colorado threat. Winds will be the main threat out of these storms, and we've got high wind warnings out there as well through parts of the high plains. Let's get you back into the southeast. A new tornado warning again in the Orlando area. It's orange in Seminole counties, Altamont Springs, Orlando, Winter Park under this warning right along I-4 moving north. More on this after the break.
These are extraordinary times, and we want to thank the extraordinary people in the healthcare community working to care for all of us. At Novartis, we promise to do our part. As always, we're doing everything we can to help keep Cosentyx accessible and affordable. If you have any questions at all, call us, email us, visit us online. We are here to help support you when you need us. Take care and be well. To learn more, call 1-844-COSENTYX or visit Cosentyx.com.
My gums are irritated. I don't have to worry about that. Do I?
Harmful bacteria lurk just below the gum line.
Crest Gum Detoxify, voted product of the year. It works below the gum line to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. Gum Detoxify from Crest.
The great American comeback has begun. A record 2.5 million new jobs in May. And we're just getting started. Before the pandemic, President Trump made our economy the envy of the world. Now he's doing it again, bringing devastated industries back, working to build factories here instead of China, getting direct cash relief to families, renewing, restoring, rebuilding. Together, we'll make America great again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You're ready to drive again, and not just to the neighborhood store. In a new Honda, you can enjoy the open road with powerful performance. And your money can go farther too, because Honda holds its value better than any other auto brand. Your Honda dealer is offering flexibility, like shopping online, so you can purchase with confidence. Get your new Honda today. KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand.
Thanks for sharing your DIY haircuts. Thanks for sharing your savage moves, and especially your awkward ones. Thanks for sharing your cute kids and your adorable pets. Now it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for both current and new customers. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. So thanks again. One good share deserves another.
I have the power to lower my blood sugar and A1C.
Because I can still make my own insulin, and Trulicity activates my body to release it, like it's supposed to. Once weekly Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It's not insulin. It starts acting from the first dose, and it lowers risk of heart attack, stroke, or death in people with known heart disease or multiple risk factors.
Trulicity isn't for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, changes in vision, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, belly pain, and decreased appetite, which lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems. We're committed to helping ensure Trulicity is available and affordable. Learn more at Trulicity.com.
This footage is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It almost looks like the mothership has landed.
That is so strange.
This looks apocalyptic.
This just seems unnatural to me. I cannot think of anything that would be more terrifying than that.
Whoever said our planet had to explain itself.
The Earth will do what it does.
Explore the strange phenomena of our weird Earth. Premiering next Sunday at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
We are watching our continuing live team coverage of Tropical Storm Cristobal. I want to get you into Florida, though, because the concern for tornadoes is there, even as far east as Orlando, and we've got a new tornado warning to tell you about in Orange and Seminole counties. And this one gives us pause, some concern that we may be dealing with a tornado in progress. There on the velocity, you can see that area of rotation. This is between Orlando and the Conway area. So we're looking at areas down near the airport, pretty residential area. I'm checking in with Dr. Knabb. He's very familiar with Florida and, the Orlando area. So we're talking about a residential area. There's that area of rotation correlation coefficient picking up on some non-meteorological debris. So we are getting a signature that could tell us, that tells us we could be looking at a tornado that is causing some damage. So when you look at the correlation coefficient, the blue and the green and the whiter colors, that's non-meteorological. So we're talking not raindrops, not hailstones, but in fact, maybe something like tree debris or building debris. Again, this is just on the southeast side of really downtown Orlando. This is moving to the north. So we're looking at places like Winter Park, 7:40, the expiration for, or the arrival time, excuse me, for you. Maitland at 7:44, and then we're looking at Altamont Springs at 7:48 local time. So this is moving north around 20 miles an hour, kind of following just along and to the east of I-4. If you know somebody who might be out there on the roads this evening, give them a buzz and let them know to pull over, let this storm pass. A lot of heavy rain already up into the Winter Park area, and this storm, that area of rotation will continue to lift northward. We have these tropical systems, and we watch those bands of heavy rain, and also just the overall rotation allowing or exacerbating a threat of tornadoes, also water spouts. We've seen plenty of these warnings and water spouts today, and unfortunately now watching the Orlando area for a possible tornado as we speak. Some very heavy rain from Tampa to Spring Hill and even up towards Ocala and Gainesville. Torrential tropical downpours coming down as the eastern stretches of tropical storm, very large tropical storm Cristobal begin to advance in. Well, our crews are out there along the Gulf Coast, including meteorologist Felicia Combs. She is in Biloxi, Mississippi, a storm-savvy town. Felicia, I'm sure they weren't necessarily counting on it being this early. They were trying to get back into business, and now this not helping the visitors.
Alex, as you mentioned, they are a storm-savvy town, and they were starting to get back into the swing of things. Now, the good news about this system, it's a tropical storm, and they are no stranger to these tropical systems. Of course, still getting prepared, though. We've kind of narrowed the window of hazards here in Biloxi. We've got that storm surge warning. We've got the tropical storm warning. The heavy rain could be an issue as this area is under a flood watch as well. So people are preparing. I've got Mayor Gillich, the mayor of Biloxi, here with me. And, we talked yesterday and you said they're going to kind of keep an eye on things, see what's going to happen. What has kind of changed since yesterday now that we know we've got the storm surge warning, we've got the tropical storm warning?
Well, yesterday was being prepared. The low-lying areas and ditches and drainways and things have been cleaned. So as the rain inundates us, things will flow out to the sound and to the bay. So that's been going on. And been a lot of folks that have been moving from the harbors up to what we call Hurricane Hole. And that takes it's like a parade of boats as you see, taking shelter. But a lot of folks are kind of just getting ready, cleaning gutters off their houses like I did today, and just keeping things just in case it does get, winds up there 60 miles an hour. But we're hopeful that, this is an exercise, an early exercise.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, as always. And of course, Alex mentioned it a little earlier. She's back in the studio, and we were talking about it as well. Starting to get back in the swing of things. It was supposed to be the blessing of the fleet this weekend and things like that. And all of that a bit delayed. So kind of talk about what this system is meaning for Biloxi in the transition from COVID-19 back to normal.
Right. Again, the resorts we have ongoing, the gaming, those kinds of things are getting back in the groove since Memorial Day weekend. The governor has kind of relaxed some of the rules as far as how people can join one another. Of course, the entertainment and the seafood is pretty good here, and those restaurants are a big thing. But yeah, you were right. We're just getting back in the groove, and this threw a little wrench at us. But we'll get through this, and keeping our fingers crossed that this won't be so bad for us or anybody, really.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that one. Real quickly, one message you want to give to anyone who's kind of just waiting on the storm here.
Yeah, just stay tuned, and we'll, our public information will get out on the airways as well as our emergency management. If things happen to stiffen up, and the barometric pressure hurries up, gets up there or gets down there, the word will get out, and we'll be fine.
Thanks so much, Mayor Gillich. We're here in Biloxi, and we'll have more coming up later in the show.
Father's Day may only come once a year, but dads are always doing. This year, celebrate Dad with savings on all of his favorite things, all from his favorite place, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Feel like getting back out there? Nissan is ready to help you with a bold, award-winning lineup. Kick off summer with no payments for 3 months. Plus, we'll cover your payments for up to 2 more months. Or get 0% financing on 13 models for up to 84 months. Shop at home at nissanusa.com.
America is coming back stronger than ever, but it's recommended to wear face protection to help keep you and the people around you safer. But in times of need, they can be hard to get. Introducing Air Police 4, the non-medical face mask with 4 layers of protection. Ships directly to you from our USA warehouse. Air Police uses 4 layers of high-performance fabric with a cutting-edge, melt-blown, electrostatic inner core. Air Police is soft on the skin, covering your entire nose and chin with a customizable nose piece to fit your face and the breathability to wear your glasses without fogging up. Its high-grade 4-layer design provides an extra layer of protection to help you and your family cope with the demands of our hazardous new world. And our one-size-fits-all flexible ear straps are incredibly comfortable for all-day wear.
Right now, being on the front line every day, having 4 layers of protection is a must.
Remember, a human sneeze or cough can fly over 20 feet away. Other masks have only 3 layers. Air Police 4 has 4 layers and ships directly to your door from our USA-based company for the incredible price of just $1.99 each. But order right now and receive special pricing for as low as 99 cents and get free shipping. Plus, you can get an extra large bottle of our best-selling Hanvana HydroClean hand sanitizer that kills 99.9% of germs and softens your hands at the same time. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon and supplies are limited. We urge you to call or go online now for guaranteed delivery. Remember, this offer is not available on Amazon. Order now.
Call 1-800-903-3849. That's 1-800-903-3849. Call or visit airpolice4.com. So call 1-800-903-3849 or visit airpolice4.com. Order now.
As a struggling actor, I need all the breaks that I can get. At Liberty Buchamode.
Cut.
Liberty Bibbity.
Cut. We'll dub it.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Whoever said our planet had to explain itself. Explore the strange phenomena of our weird Earth. Next Sunday night on the Weather Channel.
All right, welcome back into our continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Cristobal. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson. We are watching a tornado-warned storm here near the Orlando area, and there was confirmation on this. This was an observed tornado. 2 power flashes. Some spotters reported a funnel on the ground. This is just on the east side of I-4. So this storm now on the northeast side of downtown Orlando. And our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, we've been watching this, Dr. Knabb. And you and I have been talking during the break about this storm. You know, we look at these tropical systems and they can influence and bring us these tornado warnings, but you're even seeing some of the low-level flow from that correlation coefficient, basically the debris that we're seeing.
Yeah, and if we loop that, you can see southeast of Orlando, see that blow up of the colors, the light blue and the whites, and that showed up right at the time and place where the velocity signature started getting going. But you'll notice that the debris that essentially represents, the non-meteorological debris, is being blown a little bit northwest, even west of I-4. whereas the velocity signature is continuing kind of straight northeast of I-4. So what might be going on there is once the debris is lofted into the air, what happens is that the low-level velocity signature caught by the radar keeps going north, but because we have low-level wind shear in the atmosphere coming out of the south at lowest levels, and maybe more south-southeast when you get a few thousand feet up, that the higher the debris goes, the more it turns left in that south-southeasterly wind. So the low-level wind shear is contributing to the spin that creates the tornado, and then the low-level wind shear is revealing itself in the way the debris spreads out the higher it goes.
It's kind of an interesting feedback there because you're exactly right. We get that shear due to this tropical circulation, so that's why we have the tornado warnings, and then you're actually picking it up here in this case of debris. Now, we still have this warning in the Orlando metro area. At this point, we're looking at the east and northeast side. This is a really populated area, though. So there's a lot of businesses. There are a lot of homes in the path of this one.
Yeah, you know, the Orlando International Airport is way out southeast of town, and the Orlando Executive Airport is directly east of downtown. And in that whole area east of downtown, it's a very large corridor of a lot of residential areas and a lot of businesses, too. And so, you know, we've had the correlation coefficient supporting what the velocity signature was suggesting, and then a lot of reports coming on Weather Service chat of a confirmed tornado on the ground, power flashes east of downtown. So there's no doubt that this has been doing some kind of damage on the ground.
Yeah, and we're going to be obviously checking in on that, bringing you more reports. But right now, I want to warn some of the other communities that could be in the path of this storm. Again, a confirmed tornado. There were some reports that it lifted, but with that area of rotation still showing up, we want to get you informed. Altamont Springs, 7:50 local time for you. Winter Springs at 7:56. Wagner just before the top of the hour. So these are communities in the path of this storm. Again, this has been a confirmed tornado moving north, 20 miles an hour, may have lifted, but again, that rotation's still there, and we very well still could be dealing with a tornado in progress. So if you're in this area, lowest level, most interior room is where you want and need to be. It's Orange and Seminole counties that continue under the warning. Want to get you caught up on all things Tropical Storm Cristobal. Of course, the threat of tornadoes, just one of the issues. Here's what we know right now. We expect Cristobal to make landfall as a high-end tropical storm. This would be somewhere along the Louisiana coast late on Sunday. Now, that's prompted mandatory evacuations for Terrebonne Parish in Zone 1. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, he's already declared a state of emergency for his state ahead of the storm's arrival. So our time is running out to prepare, Dr. Nab. This is a very survivable storm. This is one I don't want people to, you know, overly worry about, but there are smart things you can do to make it so much easier for yourself.
Yeah, for the most part, the only reason you'd have to worry is if you put yourself into a dangerous situation. We got to stay out of the water, and there's things we can do to protect ourselves and our homes from not just the saltwater flooding, the storm surge, but also the freshwater flooding from the heavy rain, likely flooding in places like Baton Rouge, New Orleans tomorrow, going up into places like Jackson, Mississippi, up into Arkansas and Missouri when we get Monday into Tuesday. So in preparation for flooding at the coast or inland, one thing you can do is obtain and fill up and stack properly some sandbags around your property. A lot of communities are distributing these, and you fill them up half full, and you kind of fold them over, and you can stack them, and you can especially have a strong barrier there if you stack those sandbags up against a building. But it's not going to protect you against 5-foot storm surge with waves, but it could protect you against a minor to moderate flood, keep water out of your home. You want to go out and clear leaves and other debris out of your gutters so things drain properly, and put valuables and other documents in a waterproof container, and take that and anything valuable higher up in your home, especially if waters are encroaching upon your home or you know you live in a flood-prone area in those areas I just showed. Get things off the bottom floor so they don't flood. Take photos and videos of the interior of your home and the exterior in case you have to file an insurance claim afterward. You can prove to the adjuster what you had, and make offsite data backups as well. A lot of things we do to get ready for flooding, Alex.
A lot of things you can do now, and you'll be very, very happy you did them if you need it. Get you back to that tornado warning in Orange and Seminole counties in the state of Florida. This is north of Orlando. Warning continues until 8 o'clock. Altamont Springs, Winter Park, some of the communities in the path of this one. We've been looking at the area of rotation just east of I-4. This storm moving north 20 miles an hour. We'll get you another check of the storms, the rain, and reports from live in the field next.
Father's Day may only come once a year, but dads are always doing. This year, celebrate Dad with savings on all of his favorite things, all from his favorite place, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I just love hitting the open road and telling people that Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Frito-Lay Variety Packs presents Totally Unrealistic, Never Gonna Happen in a Million Years Mom Fantasies.
Mother, thank you for planning such an enriching camping trip for us.
Please accept this as a token of our appreciation.
Now let us sing to you.
This'll never happen, but this might.
There's like no reception.
I'm not cheering, Ted. Ew, bugs!
Dibs on the Fritos.
Frito-Lay Variety Packs, packed with possibilities.
Our Hillshire Farm craftsmen start the day slow roasting turkey for incredible flavor. Then they double seal every slice for freshness. The results? Well, they speak for themselves.
We want to support the employees of America's Bars and Restaurants. So order takeout today, and Bud Light will buy your first round when things reopen. There's a Bud Light there, on us. Find out how at budlight.com/open for takeout.
How would I describe overpaying on a used car? It was humiliating. It's expensive. I just trusted the wrong used car sites.
Carfax has a better way. Only Carfax.com can give you the most accurate price based on the Carfax report. So you never have to overpay on a used car again.
But I guess life goes on. So, all right, come on, boy. Here we go. Let's go, buddy.
Stop the shame of overpaying and start your used car search today at the all-new Carfax.com.
Your face to the skies higher. Together, we can take it higher. Together, we can take it higher. From now to the best on fire. Stand up, raise your face to the skies higher. Together, we can take it higher. We can take it higher.
Everyone loves the benefits of compression socks, but they're just so hard to get on. Until now, introducing the all-new Copperfit Energy Socks, the first ever easy on, easy off fit to help reduce swelling, relieve tired, achy muscles, and provide energizing support.
Being a SWAT commander, we train to win. The Copperfit Energy Socks, they didn't feel like other compression socks. They totally exceeded my expectations.
Copper-infused fabric woven into our compression sock to help reduce swelling discomfort.
They just slip right on, yet they still have that same compression that you want.
Extra support around the arch and ankle for relief of muscle aches and pains.
These were fantastic. A lot of compression socks are a little too thin. I could wear these every day.
Feel more energized. Get your energy socks now online at getenergysocks.com or call 1-800-368-1870. Order now and get a second pair free.
I have so much energy. I can go. Hey, you want it, Dad?
Copperfit Energy Socks.
It's hurricane season. You need to know what weather is heading your way.
We've already got some rain out there this morning and severe storms developing.
America's Morning Headquarters has you covered. So start every day with the best in weather.
Time to check out the tropics for you. We're focused in here on the Western Atlantic.
AMHQ.
Welcome back into AMHQ, your morning headquarters for weather.
Join Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno. Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 69 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 57, south-southeast winds, shifting to north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny skies, high 80. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Sunday night, mainly clear and windy, low 59. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, I want to get you back into Central Florida. We've got a tornado warning here in Orange and Seminole counties. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado warning now. This was confirmed earlier. This storm has a history of producing a tornado. The tornado that was in progress right on the east side of Orlando has dissipated, but could quickly redevelop, according to the National Weather Service. Orange, Seminole counties, the areas under the warning. And you're looking at the velocity signature. I want you to especially watch the east side. There, you could see it moving up to the north. And we're actually going to continue that warning now farther north as that area of rotation has extended up towards the Altamont Springs area. So we're looking at northwest side of Winter Park, south side of Altamont Springs. That would be our area. Again, not quite as well-defined rotation as what we had earlier, but still looking at that area of rotation. So if you are anywhere along the I-4 corridor around or north of Altamont Springs, so now we've moved out of Orange County into Seminole County. This warning continues until 8:15. By the way, some small hail possible out of this one, as well as some very, very heavy rainfall. We look at the correlation coefficient moving up into the area, and we're going to be watching for the possibility that we still have some debris out there. You can see that area on the west side of Sanford there to the east side of I-4. So we have had this storm with a history of producing a tornado, and with these tropical systems, very, very common to get these rotating thunderstorms. So they may only be weaker or short-lived, but of course, when you get them into these populated areas, they can do some damage. So we're watching that storm again on the northeast side of Orlando. That continues to move north around 20 miles per hour. Again, radar indicated, but this storm has a history of producing a tornado. So Altamont Springs, Winter Park, areas up I-4 now getting away from Orlando. So the good news for Orlando, your threat going down, but obviously communities on the north side, that threat going up. There's that correlation coefficient giving us a look at where that storm was located. Now some of those pixels around the Altamont Springs area, we've seen this debris kind of spread out, and as Dr. Knabb pointed out, goes to show us that we've got that wind shear that's contributing to that threat. Maybe the low-level winds more out of the south, but just a little bit aloft, higher up in the atmosphere, you get those winds out of the southeast. So the turning of winds with height from that overall circulation from Cristobal is contributing to that tornado danger here in the state of Florida. I want to take you to the state of Louisiana. That's where we find meteorologist Chris Bruin. He is in New Iberia, not too far away from Lafayette, so central part of the state. Rain will be a concern. Chris, I think wind could be an issue for you guys, but of course, the heavy rain threat's really the main issue moving forward.
Yeah, because we are on the west side of the system, the storm surge factor isn't going to be as big of an issue here because we're going to be having that offshore push that's going to actually lower the water in most cases. If we see any water rise, it's going to be between now and, say, tomorrow afternoon, because that's when we're going to start seeing our winds shift. And from that point forward, the storm surge issue for western Louisiana will be pretty much non-existent. Sunny right now. In fact, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of storms the rest of the afternoon. We've had a couple of brief showers, but that's really been the case for the day. We haven't really had a lot of rainfall. We've been dealing with a lot of dry air, and it's really cool to see what it looks like in person. If you're observing everybody and everybody's location here on the Weather Channel, you at home can really learn how tropical systems are, and they're each unique. This one has a lot of dry air, so the western side of the storm is lopsided, and there's not a lot of rain. But where Felicia Combs is in Biloxi, Mississippi, it's a little bit different of a story. There's a lot more clouds, and we've had a lot more rain in the Mississippi Gulf Coast today, Felicia.
We certainly have, Chris, and not just today, actually. It has been a very wet time period over, say, the past week, and they've seen quite a bit of rain. So we've actually got a flood watch in effect here because we're expecting quite a bit of rain for this particular area, 4 to 8 inches, locally higher amounts. And I'll tell you, we just started getting these light showers coming down, and I think this is the leading edge of a very thick band of at least showers that's going to be ongoing for several hours as we're going to continue to see some of those bands feeding in. Now, you'll notice we're here in the Small Craft Harbor. This is the oldest harbor in Biloxi. Another issue that we're going to have that Chris was talking about New Iberia will not have, well, that will be the risk for storm surge. And Biloxi is under a storm surge warning. We are expecting, or the forecast is for 3 to 5 feet of inundation possible because we're going to have such a push of persistently southeasterly winds pushing the water of the Gulf, the Bay of Biloxi, that's all surrounding Biloxi up and pushing it toward the coast. So that is something we have to watch here. Of course, we've got crowds and the team spanned out all across the Gulf Coast, and we'll be bringing you details from then. And we've got you covered here in Biloxi as well. More on all of this and Chris Philbog after the break.
If you love peanut butter most, this cup has your name on it. If you love chocolate most, this cup has your name on it. Not literally. That'd be a logistical nightmare, especially if we used last names. Then we'd have to do both sides. Reese's lovers, yeah, they're back.
Father's Day may only come once a year, but dads are always doing. This year, celebrate Dad with savings on all of his favorite things, all from his favorite place, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Ta-da! Did you know Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
I should get a quote.
Do it.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Do you know why I love Coffee Mate? Well, it's triple churn and 2 times richer than milk for one perfect cup of coffee. Think I love Coffee Mate too much? No, impossible.
Coffee Mate. Coffee's perfect mate.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Rising Crust is fresh baked deliciousness. Stuffed Crust is literally mouth-watering. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
These are extraordinary times, and we want to thank the extraordinary people in the healthcare community working to care for all of us. At Novartis, we promise to do our part. As always, we're doing everything we can to help keep Cosentyx accessible and affordable. If you have any questions at all, call us, email us, visit us online. We're here to help support you when you need us. Take care and be well. To learn more, call 1-844-COSENTYX or visit Cosentyx.com.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet, protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system, always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
The fighting spirit is one we all share. Amanda Nunes wears hers with pride. From standing up for herself against the doubters, to being the only woman in her MMA training gym. Amanda refused to let stereotypes get in her way, whether inside the octagon or out. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you're made of. Modelo, the official beer of UFC.
All right, I brought in Ensure Max Protein to give you the protein you need with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein with nutrients to support immune health.
Wait till the last minute to do the hurricane prep, and there's no way to get it all done.
It's going to be a long duration event. We've got a couple of days ahead of rain and wind and surge.
Already getting a lot of rain coming into Florida.
Keeping people out of the Gulf of Mexico is close to all swimming and wading. The lifeguards are working tirelessly to ensure that happens.
Well, welcome back into our special continuing live coverage of Tropical Storm Cristobal. Gulf Coast states bracing for landfall within the next 24 to 36 hours. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson. We've got a team with you here, though, tonight to bring you the very latest, including our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb. Expert analysis you can only get here on the Weather Channel. I want to get you back to Florida real quick, get you caught up on a tornado warning. This is, of course, one of those threats. You get that wind shear associated with these tropical systems, and this continues on the north side of Orlando. Had a tornado touchdown, very likely. Now, we're going to have the National Weather Service go out there and do confirmation, but according to the radar, it looks very likely that we had this touchdown very close to the executive airport, the Orlando Executive Airport on the west side, moving north from there. Reports are this has lifted, but still could produce a tornado. We're looking at Seminole County now under the warnings. Areas northeast of Altamont Springs, that will continue northward into communities like Sanford and Winter Springs. So if you're in the path of this one, lowest level, most interior room. Again, reports are it has lifted. Still, you can see that area of rotation northeast of Altamont Springs, possibility that we could see another tornado spin up. And we have our team coverage to bring you all things Cristobal tonight. Dr. Knabb here in studio. Of course, Chris Bruin in New Iberia, Louisiana, Felicia Combs in Biloxi, Mississippi, and Mike Seidel in Grand Isle, Louisiana. So 5 meteorologists with you here tonight to keep you posted. I got to count myself, right? Dr. Knabb, we've got a new advisory to break down here from the National Hurricane Center.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of changes, but I had my computer all set up to show you something real quick. I wanted to just quickly recap this tornado that was east of Orlando. Here's Belle Isle. Here's the Orlando International Airport, and look at the velocity signatures showing up right there at the Beeline Expressway and Orange Avenue, and it went straight northward. This is a really long-lived tropical tornado. I haven't seen the one lasted this long in quite a while. And look at that correlation coefficient showing up right there, right as it moved north of Belle Isle. So that was a pretty significant system, and we do have reports of confirmation on the ground that this caused some damage. And when you get the correlation coefficient and on the ground confirmation, we know there's damage. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing some reports of that. But look at that center of action where we've been dealing with flash flood warnings, tornado warnings, is in this primary outer band and another one kind of east of there that is hundreds of miles east of the center of circulation of Tropical Storm Cristobal. Now, that center is still more than 200 miles south of southeastern Louisiana. This is a big, big system. Tentacles far and wide, and this is why we've been harping all week on why we can't focus on the exact center and how many impacts could extend well outside the cone, and that's going to continue to be the case. In fact, tropical storm force winds kind of extend some 400 miles when you go southwest to northeast. So no big changes with this intermediate public advisory. We will have a complete 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, new track and intensity forecast from the Hurricane Center in about 3 hours, and we will definitely bring that to you when it comes in. But north at 12, 50 miles an hour, pressure 993. That's a low pressure for a 50-mile-an-hour tropical storm. It's using that pressure difference over a very, very large area. The visible imagery at this time of day is pretty impressive. In fact, we're seeing some overshooting tops starting to take shape there north of the center. So there's some rain coming in, associated with the central area. It's not just this outer banding that is the problem. But look at all that lightning has been coming into Naples, Fort Myers area. Now, we still have flash flood warnings. Okay, don't want to forget about that. This is just east of Ocala in the Bellevue, Florida area. Flash flood warning until 8:45 local time. This is up the road a piece from where the tornado warning was east of Orlando. It has rained in buckets over the last several hours. 6 inches in some spots along that corridor, and we're likely to get flash flooding tomorrow night into Monday morning in places like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and then that problem extends inland up through Jackson, Little Rock. Alex, we got wind, we got water, coastal inland. This is a big, big system.
Yeah, big system, wide-reaching effects, and we've got crews all along the Gulf Coast, because it's not just areas in the cone that will feel those main effects. Storm surge, heavy rain, wind, an issue for Grand Isle. Mike Seidel, those winds have really picked up this afternoon.
Yes, indeed, and so have the wave heights. I just checked the buoy just offshore from Grand Isle this morning at 4 a.m.
4.6 feet, now up to 11.5 feet. So the waves have doubled and tripled since before sunrise this morning, and we're going to see them continue to come up. What we just experienced was a bit of a rogue wave. Now, the tide's been going out now for about 7 hours, so it's out here, but we were just standing up here, and all of a sudden, the water just rushed up, and it came up as high as it did at high tide about 10 a.m. this morning. That was kind of caught us off guard. Now, the high tide of concern, though, is going to be tomorrow morning at 10:55 here in Grand Isle, because we have the high tide. Also, we have the push of the water, and we're going to have stronger winds. Right now, the winds are running 20 to 25 miles an hour. Our highest gust here just nearby has been 38 miles an hour. We're in some rain showers right now. You can see that on the radar. We've not had any real squalls yet, but look just to our southeast, down towards the mouth of the Mississippi, down to Burris and Venice. Those are coming in the next hour or so, and that's going to be the beginning of where we get the very heavy rainfall rates of 1-2 inches an hour, and also wind gust up over 40 miles an hour. In fact, we could see some wind gust here between now and tomorrow and landfall over 60 miles an hour, and that could, the concern here, could knock out some power. The locals tell me it doesn't take much here. Let's go inland to New Iberia, where the threat is for inland flash flooding. Chris Bruin, as much as 4 or 5 inches of rain could fall over there in New Iberia.
Yeah, Mike, you know, we're on the far western fringes of the tropical storm warning. So here in New Iberia and Iberia Parish, we're under a tropical storm warning, and this is the last part before you get out of that real threat of tropical weather. Right now, it's tranquil, and I think that's what's so cool. If you've been following the Weather Channel for the duration of the last few days, you've been watching Cristobal and areas on the Gulf Coast, it's really cool to see different parts of the same storm and what it's going to look like as this continues to progress. People are preparing, but again, this is going to be a pretty tame storm, at least for southwestern and central Louisiana. I think some of the worst impacts are going to be much farther off towards the east. And don't just focus on the center of the storm. We're going to have rain all the way over to Florida's Gulf Coast, and that's where some of the heaviest rainfall, even the risk for tornadoes, may be. We've talked to some residents, not just here in New Iberia. We're on the shores of Bayou Teche, famous little riverway. A lot of boaters out still trying to enjoy part of their weekend before the rain really starts to increase on your Sunday. But closer to the coast, they are starting to do preparations, the typical when any storm threatens. Take a listen.
I brought my golf cart and my riding lawnmower into town in a warehouse to keep it out. I had my boat hooked up just in case to pull the boat out. My tools and stuff downstairs and some of my valuables in my outdoor kitchen. We brought that up on the porch, anticipating that it wouldn't get higher than the porch. A major hurricane, say a Cat 4, Cat 5 coming through, we'd have to haul a lot more of this stuff out to the north. But with this, we just call it hurricane prep, and we pick everything up, the valuables. Still have stuff to pick up, but I brought a lot on the porch yesterday and last night just in case, and just waiting to see if it turns. Well, then we got more to do, but we're 3/4 of the way done with the hurricane prep just in case. Because if you, as y'all know, you wait till the last minute to do the hurricane prep, and there's no way to get it all done.
And words from a local himself. You never want to wait. They're not, certainly. And we've had nice weather to get those last minute preps underway. And Felicia, here in Louisiana, it's just routine. Anytime there's a storm threatening, they bring in all their loose items on carports and underneath the lower levels of their home just to get out of the wind and water threats. Have you noticed any preparations ongoing there on the Mississippi Gulf Coast?
Chris, Biloxi is a lot like Louisiana, where you are. They're no stranger to these tropical systems at all. People have been taking it seriously, and I do think people are watching to see what's happening. Given that it's a tropical storm, maybe they're not as on edge as they would be, say we were forecasting a major hurricane or something of that stature. But I have seen people going out and getting sandbags and things like that and preparing. Now, here's the thing about Biloxi. Biloxi is basically kind of on a peninsula, and it's surrounded on water by 3 sides. And what you're looking at is the Mississippi Sound, which is kind of just a part of the Gulf of Mexico. And that is part of the issue that we're going to have here. Storm surge warning in effect for Biloxi. The forecast saying 3 to 5 feet of inundation possible. Now, high tide here tomorrow in the Bay of Biloxi is just after 11:30. It's around 11:43 in the morning. And that is when you really start to get worried about things of this nature, like the possibility for storm surge because you add that on top of the high tide as well. I think we could probably see that jet skiers out and about right now. So some people still not packing it in just yet, taking advantage of the breaks in the rain. But I'll tell you, if we look out south across the Gulf of Mexico, across this barrier island, that is a wall of rain that's been trying to edge its way toward the coast. And once that moves in, it's going to be raining here for a while. So I think the jet skiers better have their fun right now and then get inside pretty quickly because that rain is certainly edging toward the coast. And once it picks up, it is going to be rain you do not want to be in. Another threat here for Biloxi is going to be that fresh water flooding. They've had quite a bit of rain already this past week. So there is a flood watch in effect, for the Biloxi area, a good portion of southeast Louisiana as well, until Tuesday because we've seen just so much rain. So multiple threats going on here, even though we are outside of that cone, Alex.
All right, Felicia, thank you so much. We're going to check back in with Felicia. As she just said, you don't want to get caught up in who's in the cone, who's not, because the effects will extend well away from that, including the possibility for tornadoes. You guys, we're watching areas to the west of Daytona Beach, north of Orlando. We've got 2 tornado-warned storms. The southernmost one, this has already produced a tornado down near the Orlando area on the east side of town. Right now, we've got Seminole County under a warning, Lake Mary, Sanford, Winter Springs, just a few communities in the path of this one. To the north, around DeLand, we've got another storm capable of producing a tornado here in Volusia County. Looking at that area of rotation, it's tough to make out a really precise or significant area of rotation, but very likely there on the west-northwest side of DeLand. There you can see it much more clearly popping up. Still at least 2 areas of possible rotation, not quite as noticeable or not quite as strong as what we saw out there earlier. But still, if you are on the east side or west side of 17, lowest level, most interior rim, these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes already today. An observed tornado earlier down near the Orlando area. We've got wind shear thanks to this tropical system. It's very common with tropical storms, with hurricanes, as they make their way closer to land, that wind shear will trigger some tornadoes out there. There's our southernmost warning. This is that storm that produced a tornado down near the Orlando area. But again, Volusia County, Seminole counties under the warning. If you're in the path of these, lowest level, most interior room where you need to be. Still looking at some areas of rotation within both. So both storms very possibly bringing tornadoes here across northeast, north central parts of Florida. Dr. Knapp, I want to get back to the coast, talk about the storm surge possibility, because this is such a huge storm. There's going to be a really significant onshore push. And then we've also got high tide that's going to come into play.
Yeah, I almost feel like we need to put some kind of different label on a system when it is large, because the fact that it's a tropical storm is a little bit deceptive in terms of maybe you're not thinking that it's that big a deal, but it's a big deal, right? It's 400 miles across in terms of the extent of tropical storm force winds southwest to northeast, and a pressure of 993 millibars. I mean, it's going to exert that energy difference somehow when the pressure is that low, and it's exerting that by creating a big pressure gradient over a large distance. So there's still a lot of energy in the atmosphere. It's just not as put together in the interior as like a hurricane would be, or a compact tropical storm. But look at these wind gusts exceeding 30 miles an hour over a very large area, including getting closer and closer to the coast, gusting to 26 at the New Orleans airport, 32 at Grand Isle. We've been up near 30 miles an hour at times in Pensacola. And you see that easterly flow on the northern side of the system. That's what's pushing the water into this little concave area of the coastline, Mississippi coastline, extreme southeast Louisiana. That's why the storm surge warning is there. That's where the onshore push is going to be greatest. And especially tomorrow morning late, we're going to have high tide in this area. And outside the risk reduction system in New Orleans, it's not in the warning. We could have the life-threatening saltwater inundation in places like Biloxi, Gulfport, in Pass Christian. Right now, the water values above normally dry ground at the coast are not very high, but that's because we're headed into we're headed into low tide this evening. So we're going to have a little bit of a break right now. But these 3 to 5 foot values are storm surge flooding that's expected somewhere in that area above normally dry ground if and when storm surge and high tide coincide. And that's going to be late tomorrow morning. And Isidore is an example of a tropical storm that's large, about as strong as Cristobal is going to be, that took a life along the coast of Mississippi in storm surge in a parking lot because they didn't evacuate and they were out on the road. So, Alex, these storm surge events with a tropical storm can be deadly. We got to get out of those areas.
Yeah, got to be smart, make good decisions. And, you know, when they tell you to go or if they tell you to stay out of an area, listen to the officials. They know what they're doing. Well, Cristobal will bring a ton of rain. We're going to talk about the flooding threats coming up.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Hey, can I
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Safe driver, save 40%. Guys. Check it out. Safe driver, save 40%. Safe driver, save 40%. Safe driver, save 40%. That's Safe Driver Save 40%.
It is. That's Safe Driver Save 40%.
It's right there.
It's him. He's here.
He's right here. Hi.
Hi.
Hey. That's totally him.
That's him.
That's totally the guy.
Safe drivers do save 40%. Click or call for a quote today.
I'm Norm,
I'm Saz.
and we live in Columbia, Missouri. We do consulting, but we also write.
We take care of ourselves constantly. It's important. We walk 3 to 5 times a week, a couple miles at a time.
We've both been taking Prevagen for a little more than 11 years now. After about 30 days of taking it, we noticed clarity that we didn't notice before.
It's still helping me. I still notice a difference.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. Get full prescription strength Pataday. 1 drop once a day, relief that lasts all day. Pataday, now without a prescription, everywhere.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal in a confidant.
Frito-Lay Variety Packs presents Totally Unrealistic, Never Gonna Happen in a Million Years Mom Fantasies.
Mother, thank you for planning such an enriching camping trip for us.
Please accept this as a token of our appreciation.
Now let us sing to you.
This'll never happen, but this might.
There's like no reception.
I'm not cheering to 10. Ew, bugs!
Dibs on the Fritos.
Frito-Lay Variety Packs, packed with possibilities.
Fine. No one leaves the table till you're finished.
Fine, we'll sleep here.
It's the easiest because it's the cheesiest. Kraft for the win-win.
Tame your property with a DR trimmer mower. It trims. It mows. It even cuts brush. These machines are built to take a beating. Our durable heavy-duty cord is ideal for tough trimming tasks. Choose from gas-powered, battery-powered, towable models. Walk or ride, there's a DR trimmer mower that's right for you.
Call 1-800-422-1392 for a free buyer's guide. Learn about the full line of DRs and how you can try one on your own property for 6 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. And with our easy financing plan, you can make low monthly payments. Free shipping is now in effect. That's 1-800-422-1392. Online at drtrimmer.com.
This is epic.
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got severe weather threat. You're live on the ground. Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 69 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 57, winds east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, mainly sunny, high 80. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Sunday night, mainly clear and windy. Low 59. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Get you back to Florida. Tornado warning here on the north side of Winter Springs, Florida. So this is our storm that we have been tracking through Orange County into Seminole County, now Volusia County, and right there on the west-northwest side of Sanford. There's our area of rotation once again tightening up. Adam Dean, our weather producer, highlighting that area for you again, just on the west side of Sanford. This storm continues to move north. It's been tracking along into the east of I-4 for about an hour now, watching that bring a tornado on the east side of Orlando. We've seen some video trying to get some of that in for you here to the Weather Channel. DeBary, Deltona, Orange City, Lake Helen, and Beresford, all in the path of this storm. Not everybody under that warning, but the warning continues to be reissued with our circulation from Cristobal working its way into parts of the Gulf Coast and now Gulf Coast states and Florida. We've got enough shear that we've seen water spouts and tornado warnings already today. Another warning on the north side of our previous warning I just showed you, now into Volusia County around DeLeon Springs. We've got that area of rotation a little bit more faint earlier, seeing it a little bit more clearly. That continues to lift northward, though, right now, right around the DeLeon Springs area. This will continue also to move north. These storms outside the tornado warnings capable of producing some really heavy rainfall, too. And you can see some flood warnings over there around Ocala. We are monitoring all aspects of Cristobal, including the Hurricane Hunter flights that continue into the storm. We're looking now at the Gulf of Mexico. This from the air as the Hurricane Hunters get out there on their flights to get us the information that we need in regards to the storm. So our forecasts can be more and more accurate. The more data you get, more accurate the forecast. So they're doing really, really important work. This was one of the flights on Friday. Cristobal, right now a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm with winds, or rather pressure at 993 millibars. This is moving north, but again, east loaded, a lot of that tropical moisture. Again, those wind-sheared storms on the Florida Peninsula today, bringing those tornado warnings. Heavy rainfall all along the Gulf Coast is likely down into Florida. So I don't want us to get caught up on the cone and who's in the cone, who's not in the cone, because the impacts are going to extend well outside the cone because, one, this is a very large storm, and two, it's a very lopsided east-loaded storm. So we look at the forecast. This is telling us where the center of that storm will be and maybe where some of the strongest wind gusts will be focused. But again, if you're in Biloxi, if you're in Mobile, if you're in Pensacola, you're going to get in on the wind gusts Sunday and into Monday. Onset of tropical storm force winds coming during the early morning hours here for coastal Louisiana. New Orleans, you're looking at it, I'd say, by mid-morning. You're going to begin to see those wind gusts of those tropical storm force winds set in, and tropical storm warnings are in effect for all the areas in red. So south central Louisiana over into parts of the Florida Panhandle. So that's why our crews are extended all along the coastline. Storm surge watch, storm surge warnings also in effect. This does not include the city of New Orleans. Dr. Nab, that risk mitigation system is going to hold and protect New Orleans in this storm, but outside the city, we could still see that water above normally dry ground.
Yeah, and the local officials know what areas are protected and what areas are not. So if they tell you to go, you need to go. And now we've got the other water problem, the freshwater problem that could also affect southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. But a lot of you outside of coastal areas are going to be plagued by very heavy rainfall, training in these bands, especially on the north and east side. West coast of Florida and north central Florida is where the heaviest rains on land are right now. And we just had issued by the National Weather Service a flood warning for the Sarasota and Venice areas. This is on the west coast of Florida. Manatee and Sarasota counties, includes Bradenton, until 9:30 p.m. local time. This is the I-75 corridor coming up from Naples. When you come around Port Charlotte, and you get closer to the coast, that part of I-75 south of the Tampa Bay area, that's where we're talking about here. And we're having the inch per hour rain rates, and that's accumulating some problems on the roads, especially the lower spots, intersections, off ramps, that sort of thing. You will stay off the roads in those areas. Ocala area, southeast of there, also I-75 a little farther north in the Bellevue area in Marion County is still under a flash flood warning until 8:45 local time. We've had a ton of rain in this area, over 6 inches in the last 6 hours. So we're getting an inch per hour for hours and hours. And that's how you ramp up the total. So take that as a lesson, New Orleans and Baton Rouge and Mobile and Gulfport, because when you start getting your training heavy rains as these bands come in late tonight, early tomorrow morning, you're going to rack up the rainfall totals as it sometimes rains an inch or two per hour. All day Sunday, it'll be off and on heavy bands, and that's until the center comes ashore. And then you're going to have some perhaps on the southeast side as well. And that's why we're going to be racking up the rainfall totals, 8 to 12 inches locally. Somebody could get a foot of rain. We don't know exactly where. This bullseye in the European model has moved around from New Orleans to southern Mississippi, but you get the picture. Those are the areas at risk. And it's not just going to be at the coast. It's going to be going way inland as well. Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, 5 to 8 inches locally in some of those spots, all the way up into Wisconsin, for crying out loud. And the areas that are greatest risk for flooding tonight and tomorrow are northern Florida, but New Orleans and Baton Rouge, you're in it tomorrow into Monday morning, then Jackson, Mississippi up to Little Rock Monday night into Tuesday. Don't drive your car on any water-covered roads. We can survive this, Alex.
Yeah, and don't think that just because you're not on the coast, the water may not be an issue where you are. Hey, we've got much more in our continuing coverage next.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal in a confidant.
Not even our competitor's best battery can match the power of Energizer, because Energizer Ultimate Lithium is the longest-lasting AA battery in the world. Energizer, backed by science, matched by no one.
Motorcycle riders love the open road, and Geico loves helping riders get to where they're going. So to help even more, Geico is giving new and current customers a 15% credit on their motorcycle policies with the Geico Give Back. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your whole policy term. The Geico Give Back, helping riders focus on the road ahead.
The Great American Comeback has begun. A record 2.5 million new jobs in May, and we're just getting started. Before the pandemic, President Trump made our economy the envy of the world. Now he's doing it again, bringing devastated industries back, working to build factories here instead of China, getting direct cash relief to families, renewing, restoring, rebuilding. Together, we'll make America great again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Make your summer everything it can be and discover what's possible at Lowe's.
Here's to the experiences we create, the moments we share, wherever we are. San Pellegrino. Enhance your moments.
Feel like getting back out there? Nissan is ready to help you with a bold, award-winning lineup. Kick off summer with no payments for 3 months. Plus, we'll cover your payments for up to 2 more months. Or get 0% financing on 13 models for up to 84 months. Shop at home at nissanusa.com.
This footage is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It almost looks like the mothership has landed.
That is so strange.
This looks apocalyptic.
This just seems unnatural to me. I cannot think of anything that would be more terrifying than that.
Whoever said our planet had to explain itself.
The Earth will do what it does.
Explore the strange phenomenon of our weird Earth. Premiering next Sunday at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back into our Weather Channel live team coverage. Continuing this Saturday evening, Tropical Storm Cristobal advancing closer to the Gulf Coast, and we're already feeling the effects. Winds picking up, rain throughout the day, even tornado warnings across the state of Florida. We've been watching a storm that's spawned a tornado. This was on the east side of Orlando around 7:20, 7:30 local time. Right now, that storm has moved north. Seminole and Volusia County currently under the warning. This is north of Sanford. You can see that area of rotation. Now, at times, it's been much more pronounced, but still, area of rotation. There's a look at it. Again, north side of Sanford. Our weather producer, Adam Dean, giving you a highlight on that so you can pick it out. Essentially, this is the radar showing us the movement. Reds away from the radar, greens towards the radar. So when you have that area where the two are close up, that tells us we've got some rotation. Enterprise, next in line 5 minutes from now. Orange City, 8:51. Casadaga at 8:56 local time. That storm continues to move north, really following just to the east. Now it's going to cross over I-4. The one to the north was just canceled. So there's some good news. We were watching a tornado warning around and north of DeLand, and that one has been canceled. So we continue with this one in Seminole, in Volusia and Volusia counties. This is south and west of Daytona Beach to the east of Leesburg, and again, northeast of Orlando as this storm continues to ride along and east of I-4. A lot of heavy rain, though, across Florida, and you can see another storm likely bringing some gusty winds and lightning moving towards the Orlando area following I-4 on the southwest side of town. As I mentioned, we've got crews stretched out all along the Gulf Coast. They're monitoring conditions as Tropical Storm Cristobal approaches. Meteorologist Mike Seidel. Mike, things have really upped the ante there in the Grand Isle, Louisiana area. The wind much stronger than even earlier today.
Yeah, the wind's now running about 20 miles an hour sustained, and we've had gusts here upwards 30 to 35. Off the coast, we've had gusts as high as 51 miles an hour, but the wave heights, too, have dramatically increased since this morning. Now the buoy just offshore here from Grand Isle, 11.5 feet, and they're going to continue to go up. I wouldn't be surprised to see wave heights offshore upwards of 18 to 20 feet, certainly by tomorrow morning. Here's the Gulf of Mexico. It is really like a giant wash tub. Low tide is in about two hours or so, but the water right now is higher than it was at high tide yesterday. So you can think about what's going on. The water's trying to go out, but the wind's pushing it back on shore. So the high tide of concern will be tomorrow morning, 10:55 here in Grand Isle, where we have the combination of the high tide and the winds blowing the water in. We suspect that water is going to go into this area between the beach and the berm like it did on Hurricane Barry last year. Dr. Nav, it got about halfway up. May not get that far, but plenty of protection for the hotels and all the properties here. And as you well know, Dr. Nav, FEMA has come in here over the years and in many coastal locations and has really worked on the building codes. And just about everything now is up on stilts here in Grand Isle. Some restaurants, some older buildings on the ground level, but just about everything now here is way up because of the risk of surge and coastal flooding here in Grand Isle.
Yeah, we have control over what the weather and the wind and the water do to us by building the right way, depending on what you're at risk for. And we're at risk for not just water, but wind impacts from this system. Most of the winds are strongest out over the Gulf of Mexico right now, and these are the current buoy observations, gusting to 38 at the buoy, 95 just north of the center, and buoy 67 closer to shore, gusting to 34. And on land, Grand Isle been gusting over 30, New Orleans up to 24, Pensacola earlier gusted to 30, and you see this wind blowing from east to west right now on the north side of the system. That's piling up the water there in that concave shape of the coastline, southeast Louisiana and the coast of Mississippi. That's why the water levels will be coming up, especially tomorrow morning's high tide, when the storm surge flooding could be at its worst. Now, the winds overnight tonight will be on the increase, and in places like New Orleans, sometime tomorrow morning, we could be gusting 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. These are wind gusts, okay? This is not sustained wind, but way out to the east of the center, Pensacola could gust to 50, could gust as high as 60 in New Orleans, and you got funneling between buildings, could be stronger at higher floors of high rises, and even after the center moves inland, then you're going to have an onshore flow. Even if you don't have a rain band, you got a low pressure in this big tropical storm. There could be some really strong winds even well into Monday evening. So those winds could cause power outages. We've got to protect ourselves. They can be surprisingly dangerous or even deadly if we're not careful. If you're going to run a generator, run it outdoors and far away from the building so you don't have carbon monoxide, which is a deadly way that people have perished in past tropical storm power outages. Don't use candles or any open flame. Too much risk of it being left unattended and causing a fire. Stay away from any down power lines. Trees could down the power lines. And if you have any life-sustaining medical equipment, you need to shelter someplace with backup power, Alex. Power outages can be a real problem.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of times, you know, you kind of forget to plan and you do something like light a candle, or you forget about the proper use of a generator. So just want to keep you guys safe, make sure everybody gets through this okay. Running out of time to protect our home. Dr. Nab's going to talk about that next. And of course, we still are monitoring a tornado warned storm here in Seminole and Volusia County, Florida. Actually, now just Volusia County near Deltona.
Ignition.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the RDX.
Your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. Get full prescription strength Pataday. One drop once a day, relief that lasts all day. Pataday, now without a prescription, everywhere.
What do we want for dinner?
Burgers! I want a cookie! I want a bucket of chicken!
It's the easiest because it's the cheesiest. Kraft for the win-win.
And Doug.
Give me your hand! I can save you! Lots of money with Liberty Mutual. We customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The story of the Kind Mini. We took the full-size bar and cut it in half. So the next time it's 3 o'clock and you want some delicious dark chocolate, grab a dark chocolate nuts and sea salt mini with whole almonds and just 90 calories. It's a kinder way to satisfy.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water. Look for kids packs from Nestle Pure Life. Fun designs and a perfect size just for your kids.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Rising Crust is fresh baked deliciousness. Stuffed crust is literally mouthwatering. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Listen. That's the sound of organic beer being made. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Beer in its organic form.
These are extraordinary times, and we want to thank the extraordinary people in the healthcare community working to care for all of us. At Novartis, we promise to do our part. As always, we're doing everything we can to help keep Cosentyx accessible and affordable. If you have any questions at all, call us, email us, visit us online. We are here to help support you when you need us. Take care and be well. To learn more, call 1-844-COSENTYX or visit Cosentyx.com.
Yeah, little choices make a big difference. Like delicious fruits and veggies. However you're healthy. Naked.
Oh, this is gonna hit town!
Inside the storm. Every second counts. Deadline to Disaster, next Sunday night on the Weather Channel.
Well, common with tropical systems moving towards and onto the land. That interaction, that wind shear, can trigger tornado warnings and tornadoes, and sure enough, that's what we've got. This storm produced a tornado earlier today down near the Orlando area, east side of town. It was captured actually on some news cameras, and seeing some video of that circulate on social media. We're working to get that for you, by the way. Right now, Volusia County remains under the tornado warning. We're watching areas to the west of Deltona. This storm has been lifting north, so through Orange County, Seminole County, now Volusia County, and you can see that area of rotation. Now, this is set to expire in 8 minutes, but still, I want you to watch this storm because it has a history, obviously, of producing tornadoes, and still at least seeing enough rotation that gives us pause, gives us concern that we could see another tornado spin up. DeBary, one of the communities in the path of this one. This is right along now and beginning to cross over I-4, so continuing that northward motion outside of this area. Gosh, Florida's getting swamped with heavy rain. We've got some flash flood warnings. This one for Marion County, the community of Bellevue. And we're seeing really heavy rain towards Crescent City and Pearson. I mean, tropical downpours. And this is something that we're going to be concerned about moving forward. Florida, all along the Gulf Coast, heavy rain out of this system. Look at this rainfall. Over the last 6 hours, about 7 inches of rain being reported there on the southeast side of Ocala, Florida. So flash flooding, a real concern tonight and moving forward into the start of the new week. So I think tonight, tomorrow, into Monday, we're going to have to watch a lot of communities that could see that water just piling up. More heavy rain headed into some of these areas. We've got lightning, another round of storms moving towards Orlando. I think this one could bring you some gusty winds with it. Areas west of 95, north of Daytona Beach, getting soaked as well. So wouldn't be surprised to see some more flash flood warnings issued either. If you're out there, you find a water-covered roadway, turn around, don't drown. Easiest thing to do. You know, the system like this, we're not going to be dealing with crazy winds, but we are going to be dealing with that storm surge and that threat of flooding from rainfall. So flooding takes so many lives a year. I know sometimes we're just not afraid of water, but take it seriously and you'll be just fine with this storm. Well, special coverage of Tropical Storm Cristobal continues right now. Here's what we know. This storm will likely make landfall as a high-end tropical storm along the Louisiana coast. So power outages, some wind issues, definitely a possibility near the center of this storm. And even on the east side, this is really east-loaded. Evacuations for Terrebonne Parish. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards has declared a state of emergency ahead of the storm's arrival. Dr. Nab, we talk about things you can do to just make it easier to get through the storm, things you can do around your home, around your yard, that just keep you safe and secure.
Yeah, and when you're going to be dealing with flooding, there's a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself safe. In addition to staying off the roads, preparing your home, and, you know, inside that risk reduction system in New Orleans, you're going to have the heavy rainfall. So you could have flooding there, could have it in Baton Rouge, could have it in Jackson, Mississippi, maybe Little Rock, Arkansas. So this is going to be an inland problem as well. So I'm talking to you folks, not just at the coast, but way inland. You can be preparing while there's some time left for potential flooding. Now, one thing you can do, especially if you know you're in a flood-prone area, and you want to be ready for water maybe encroaching on your structure, is to get sandbags. You got to fill them properly. You fill them about half full, and then you fold that over and you stack the next one on top of that other folded part. And you can stack them about 3 high on their own. But if you put it up against a building, you can stack it up even higher, and that can keep 1, 2, or 3 feet of flooding from getting into your home. This is not going to protect against a big-time flood, but for some relatively minor flooding around your home, it can help keep the water out. Now, also, drainage around your home. You want to go clear those gutters this evening if you haven't had the rain start yet. Get the leaves and the debris out of there so things drain properly around your property, and put valuables and then documents in a waterproof container, and then take that and put it as high up in your home as you can, and do that with computers, do that with furniture. Again, if you know you're in a flood prone area and you're in these high risk areas for this event that I just showed you, get things elevated so you lose less if you got a little bit of flooding in your home. And take photos and video of the interior and exterior of your home, because that can document what happens afterward when you're filing an insurance claim. You can show, here's what I had before it got ruined by the floodwaters, and make some offsite data backups off your computer, off your devices. Now, what else can you be doing to get ready at the last minute? Bring stuff indoors. Tropical storm force winds, gusts of 50, 60 miles an hour can toss tools like that all around your yard, and flying projectiles can go through windows. Bring in planters, bring in patio furniture. It's not so much the wind that causes damage, it's what's flying around in the wind. So you can keep the damage around your home from being greater by bringing in these loose items. And if you got rocks around your home, you might want to put mulch there instead. That's less of a projectile. Now, finally, what can you do to buy a few things at the last minute if you haven't gotten all your supplies and be thinking about getting through a power outage? Well, fill your prescriptions and get over-the-counter medications, because if the power is out, the store where you get important prescriptions or medications might be closed. So get those now. Get cash at the ATM, because the contactless payments, the credit cards won't work when the power's out. Get batteries and power your LED lamps, not candles, because those can start a fire. Get a portable cell phone charger, and Alex, charge it all up before the power goes out. Cell phones can be the first way with texting that comes back online after the storm.
Yeah, great to know. And it keeps the family happy too, right? No joke, we've got a new tornado warning for the southwest side of Orlando, Florida. Orange County under the warning. This storm is moving to the north and east around the Dr. Phillips area. Well, more right after this.
When you let nature just do its thing, is it any wonder our beer tastes so pure? Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, beer in its organic form.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal in a confidant.
When it comes to longevity, who has the highest percentage of its vehicles still on the road today? Subaru. When it comes to best overall value, who does IntelliChoice rank #1? Subaru. And when it comes to safety, who has more 2020 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winning vehicles? More than Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai combined? Subaru. It's easy to love a car you can trust. It's easy to love a Subaru.
Get 0% APR financing for 63 months on select Subaru models, now through June 30th.
Domino's is serious about food safety. That's why your pizza stays untouched after baking at 450 degrees. And now that every delivery is contactless, you can safely mix and match any two or more for just $5.99 each when you sit around the table, even if it's not the same table.
Not even our competitor's best battery can match the power of Energizer, because Energizer Ultimate Lithium is the longest-lasting AA battery in the world. Energizer, backed by science, matched by no one.
Meet Jim. For Jim, comfort is king, which is why when it comes to his dentures, only new Polygrip Cushion and Comfort will do. The first and only formula with Adaptagrip cushioning technology. Choose new Polygrip Cushion and Comfort.
Father's Day may only come once a year, but dads are always doing. This year, celebrate Dad with savings on all of his favorite things, all from his favorite place, the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet, protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system, always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
Hey, Guy. Hi there. Welcome to HIMS.
Should have done it years ago, and I feel like the young stud that I always imagined I was.
Outstanding product. Works above and beyond our expectations.
This has been a life changer, even in just a few weeks.
Featured in GQ, Playboy, and Men's Health. Find out what all the buzz is about. Go to forhims.com/ED and get started with a free online visit while supplies last.
It's hurricane season. You need to know what weather is heading your way.
We've already got some rain out there this morning and severe storms developing.
America's Morning Headquarters has you covered. So start every day with the best in weather.
Time to check out the tropics for you. We're focused in here on the Western Atlantic.
AMHQ.
Welcome back into AMHQ, your morning headquarters for weather.
Join Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 69 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 57, winds east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, mainly sunny, high 80. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Sunday night, mainly clear and windy, low 59. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
A new video to share with you of that tornado earlier today around the Orlando area. You can see that off in the distance, right of center on the screen. See that funnel extending to the ground. This one of several videos that we are seeing. And again, we're going to be bringing them to you throughout the evening as we get those cleared and in our system. But this tornado warned storm still producing a tornado warning, but we've got a new warning now into the Orlando metro area. This is Orange County, the southwest side of town, so very close to the Disney World area, actually. We were watching a storm earlier that moved from the SeaWorld area up towards Universal Orlando. Now we look at the Disney World area. It's along a line of storms that I think is likely bringing some gusty winds, a little area of shear, so a little change in direction along that line closer to the Windermere area, and that's where we could see a quick spin up of a tornado. With these tropical systems, we've got Tropical Storm Cristobal making its way closer to the Gulf Coast. And we've seen some of the outer bands, the very heavy rain work into portions of Florida today. We've got that wind shear, and that is allowing for some of those storms to rotate. So this could be another one of those. Windermere, Gotha, Pine Hills, Orlando, and Fairview Shores, all in the path of this storm. This tornado warning continues, the tornado warned storm, I should say, continues to move to the north and east. So eventually, now we'll be looking at the west-northwest side of Orlando. About, an hour and a half ago, we were watching the east side of Orlando with that tornado warned storm that has since moved well to the north. But very closely watching that little notch just around the Windermere area where we could see a spin up of a tornado. Outside of that, be prepared for very heavy rain, be prepared for gusty winds, and be prepared for a lot of lightning. We've seen that out of the storms today. So if you're hearing thunder, inside where you need to be. I know it's, getting to the evening, so a lot of you are likely home at this point, but it's not one of those times where you want to be, walking the dog or anything. This is that storm that produced our tornado earlier. Now a severe thunderstorm warning on this. So gusty winds possible, maybe some small hail out of this one. This is north and northwest of Deltona. Want to take you way to the north. So we're not talking Cristobal anymore. We are talking about just severe storms working through portions of the northeast today, the east, the northeast, the mid-Atlantic. We've seen storms. Boston's at 68 degrees right now, but we have storms on the way. So let's walk you through this warning. You can see it extends just up to the west side of the metro area. So downtown Boston not included right now, but Middlesex, Norfolk, and Worcester counties are under the warning. Cambridge, Newton, Somerville. I want you to watch for the possibility of hail, winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. It's been a problem all week with trees coming down with these strong winds. So be prepared for that threat once again. Marlborough, Sudbury, Waltham, Cambridge, and eventually Boston in the path of this one around 9:38 local time. So you got about a half hour before things really change in a big way. If you know somebody who may be out in Boston this evening, give them a buzz. Let them know it is on the way. You don't want to find yourself outside right now. Want to get you back to the tropics, though. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Nab, watching the very latest with Cristobal. This is a large, wide-reaching storm with a lot of effects. The rain, gosh, the tornado warnings and the heavy rain already in Florida, and it's going to continue.
Yeah, the worst aspect of this storm is that it's so large. That's the big problem, literally and figuratively, right? The center of circulation has not been the center of action. That's been way off to the east, and the maximum winds are 50 miles an hour, but the winds of tropical storm force occupy from southwest to northeast some 400 miles of Gulf of Mexico real estate, so to speak. So this is a large system, and all that banding here in the Florida Panhandle has caused all the severe weather and the heavy rainfall and the flooding and the size of this system. Look at all of these isobars. So there's a lot of pressure gradient over a large area. So there's strong winds occupying a huge part of the Gulf of Mexico, and that big fetch is pushing the salt water into the southeast Louisiana and Mississippi area. And so we've got a lot of issues with a big storm. Always worse than a small one. Now let's take a look at the severe thunderstorms, well, not severe thunderstorms, but the thunderstorms and the heavy rainfall that have been producing some severe weather. The flash flooding has also been an issue. We were showing you the Bellevue area east of Ocala, but we've also got a flood warning here south of the Tampa Bay area, Palmetto, Sarasota, Bradenton, down to Venice and the I-75 corridor. A lot of heavy rainfall there. Turn around, don't drown applies. Anywhere you got a flood or flash flood warning, and the area we're really concerned about is Baton Rouge, New Orleans for tomorrow night into Monday morning. And then that extends inland. Places like Jackson, Mississippi, Little Rock, Arkansas, even up into Missouri. St. Louis could be in the mix. This is going to bring a lot of heavy rainfall. So turn around, don't drown. That's the main way we can survive easily from flash flooding. Now, the winds are on the increase, 33 gusting at Grand Isle, New Orleans gusting to 24. We've gusted up near 30 at Pensacola, but look at that flow from east to west. That's why that Mississippi coastline, southeast Louisiana, outside the risk reduction system is going to see the water rises. That's where the storm surge warning is, because we're piling up the water. And tomorrow morning, we're going to have high tide. Right now, the water levels above normally dry ground at the coast, not so bad. But late tomorrow morning, we're going to have high tide and the strongest onshore push. That's when you could have the 3 to 5 feet of storm surge flooding. Look at that high tide late tomorrow morning. So, Alex, we've got a lot of issues as the conditions deteriorate on the Gulf Coast overnight tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have our Paul Goodloe there, by the way. We've got our extended live coverage that will continue next. Meteorologist Jackie Jarris, storm specialist Mark Elliott, and, of course, our crews scattered along the Gulf Coast. We're with you to keep you covered.
Listen. That's the sound of organic beer being made. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Beer in its organic form.
Add some resistance. Sarah, your Movie Plus trial is about to expire. Do you want to continue or cancel?
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. Another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. What's in your wallet?
With Dish, you get the Hopper, TV's most powerful DVR. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once. Why so many?
See you in the morning. Okay, bye, Mom.
Because we know more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Record up to 16 shows at once. Dish, tuned in to you.
Oh, we love our new home. Neighborhood's great.
Amazing school district. The HOA has been very involved.
These shrubs aren't board approved. You need to break down your cardboard.
Thank you.
Violation. Violation.
I see you've met Cynthia. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
And does help us save a bunch of money.
2 inches over regulation.
Thanks, Cynthia.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
If spending more time with your floor has been hard on your floor, change it with the Home Depot. Order online, get it delivered, and install it yourself. Save on top flooring brands like LifeProof and Pergo on HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
And we are live here from the bayous of Louisiana. We're in New Iberia, where we are awaiting the arrival of Tropical Storm Cristobal, and that will be in the next 24 to 48 hours. What kind of impacts are we expecting here in central Louisiana? Because it's going to be very dependent upon where you are. And what we see here is going to be very different from my colleague, Felicia Combs in Biloxi, Mississippi.
That's right, Chris. I'm here in Biloxi, Mississippi, where this is one of the cities that's in the kind of small area that's included in the storm surge warning and the tropical storm warning, waiting for the wind, rain, and the possibility for that storm surge to continue to pick up. Here in Biloxi, those conditions will begin deteriorating tonight and then throughout the day on Sunday. How much rain could we see? How much storm surge inundation could we see? All of those details coming up.
All right, Felicia, we are tracking the latest conditions right now with the Tropical Storm Cristobal. I'm meteorologist Jackie Jarris. We're live on the air tonight until 12 a.m. Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, tracking our tropical storm. Now about 24 hours away from making landfall. Tonight, tropical alerts are out for nearly 4.5 million people as the storm approaches the Gulf Coast. Here's where the storm is right now. It's about 235 miles away from the mouth of the Mississippi River. It's packing winds around 50 miles per hour and continuing to move on that northerly track at 12 miles per hour. So you can see the storm bringing a lot of action already well ahead of landfall, especially across the state of Florida. So we want to break right now to what's happening in Florida, as we've had a couple of tornado warnings here already today. In fact, damage reported in the Orlando area just about an hour or so ago. It's not unusual for tropical systems to spawn quick hitting tornadoes. They tend to be brief. They tend to be fairly weak, but they do cause damage and can be destructive. So let's zoom into the area that we're looking at right now. And this does include Orlando, unfortunately, once again. In fact, I'm concerned about that whole area right there, capable of producing some pretty strong winds with this. So do take this warning seriously. We are seeing rotation to the north and to the east of the Williamsburg area right now. So this is for Orange and Seminole counties until 9:30 local time. They are reporting that there is an observed tornado with this one once again. So let's go ahead and put a track on this for you, as you need to get to your safe place, the lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows. This tornado right now is very near Universal and will be heading through Orlando around 9:09. It will move towards Altamonte Springs at 9:18, Winter Springs at 9:23, and then making its way towards Sanford at 9:32 p.m. So again, a tornado warning. Tornado has been spotted and confirmed around Universal right now, and this is heading to the north and east around 45 miles per hour and will be likely making its way through downtown Orlando. Now, that's the only tornado warning that we have right now. We'll have to continue to watch that line and this area. Another thing that I'm watching that I do find concerning are these storms out here over the open water to the south and west of Fort Myers, as well as into Naples. If those hold together, we could be talking about rotating storms between Fort Myers and Naples a couple of hours from now. And then we're also seeing these spinning, rotating bands here around Pensacola and bringing some heavy rain into Apalachicola. So let's take you back now. I want to go back to that tornado warning, bring you into this, and see if we can get velocity mode on here for you, and see if we can get any rotation within there. Yeah, so looks like there actually might be two different areas. This is the area where I'm seeing some very strong shear right within that region to the south of Paradise Heights, to the west of the Lockhart area, right where that green and that red are coming together. And then you can also see perhaps some broad rotation to the south and the west of Orlando, but nothing is striking out at me. But witnesses are saying that they do see a tornado with this cell. So a lot of times these can spin up, and they can also kind of cycle back down and push on through. So there you can see the tornado warning. This whole area is of concern. I'm seeing that area of rotation right in there. That looks like a nice hook on that storm right now. That's to the south of I-4, and that would be heading north of the downtown area, and then perhaps some weak rotation within that area as well. And this whole line right within there is likely producing some pretty strong and some damage damaging winds at this time. So I know a lot of people, have been out. It's the weekend, and a lot of people are out and traveling at this time of the year as well. So be familiar with your surroundings. Be aware of if you have friends or family members that happen to be out. Make sure you call them and let them know what's going on and get them to their safe place as well. So Orange and Seminole counties, including Orlando and Pine Hills, under this tornado warning. So this is the second one that includes the Orlando metro area for tonight. There's no watch, by the way, but isolated tornadoes can and will be happening, we think, here for tonight. So be alert, be aware, keep it here to the Weather Channel and stay updated with these tornado warnings. Want to bring in our storm specialist, Mark Elliott. And Mark, I'm definitely seeing that rotation on the northern side of here. What are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely a kink in that line heading towards that Altamont Springs area on the north side of Orlando. But for the second time in about an hour, we have confirmed tornadoes going through the Orlando metro area. So we're looking live in Orlando right now. You can see the lightning flashes. What concerns me here is so many people on the roads. Look how busy those roads are by looking at the moving headlights there. They might not have any idea that there is a confirmed tornado moving through that west side that could slide towards the north. So the wide view here shows you this curling line of thunderstorms right in here, barreling towards the Orlando area. As this was approaching, little kinks in that line kicked off, and we started getting some reports of tornadoes in the area. So what we're looking at from this vantage point is a little bit of a different mode of the radar. This is out of the Orlando airport. So you're looking at the terminal radar at this point from right in here looking north. And it's this little area right in here that has some rotation, and there's a secondary zone on the south side as well. I would argue the north one, as Jackie mentioned, is the more prevalent of the two. If we use the other radar site, let me mess with this just a bit, you can get the idea that there is a distinct kink in the line right in here. You see that that zone, I'll draw that again. There's inflow air coming in this way, and then there's another surge forward down here. So both of those areas are showing some signs of rotation at this point. Getting a little bit closer in, and it's going to switch me to the tower radar. We have that potential for a tornado. So bear with me here. I'm actually going to turn off that that radar site out of the airport because we're not getting a good view of it. So this is now coming from the East Coast, from the Melbourne area. And looking through Orlando, there's those two spots of concern. We've got one of those kinks in the line right here, and the other one, which is stronger on that north side. As for any debris being lofted into the air, we can look at the correlation coefficient to see if there's any debris and not just meteorological objects. You can certainly see there's a shift, right? All of this is out ahead of the rain. And so the radar's not really sure what to make of all that because it's bouncing off of bugs and dust and debris. But where it is raining back in here, there is no clear sign of a dropout. That is mostly suggesting that we have meteorological objects. All of that said, still the confirmed tag, still the National Weather Service has spotters in the area saying, yes, this is a tornado that continues moving northeast at 40 near Conway Road and Millennia. And there are other circulations in that line of storm. So several different areas that could be spinning. So the National Weather Service is seeing that exact thing that we were talking about, with that potential for more in the way of rotating storms. So that is something that we're following. There's a rotation point right in here and a rotation point right in here. Let me take a bit of a timing look for you. It's moving at 40, so I have to adjust my speed, and now I can time out those two different kinks in the line. Moving north-northeast, this first one towards Forest City, then Wekiwa Springs, maybe all the way towards Sanford by about 9:30. The secondary area on the south side of Orlando that could produce a tornado as well is also moving towards Orlando and Winter Park within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So this is the more populated area, you could argue, not that it's any slouch on the north side of the Orlando metro area. Then continuing on towards Goldenrod, Gabriela, and Oviedo by 9:30. So again, two different kinks on that line, both of which could be producing tornadoes at just about any point as they move through the area. So again, here's the kind of the broad view of this storm system racing towards the Orlando area. everybody along this line is going to have very gusty winds. And that is almost a guarantee. But when you kind of zoom out here, there are a couple of those kinks in the line, one of them right in here that could have a tornado, the other right in here that could produce tornadoes as well. This is tied to a broader circulation. We can zoom out even further and show you what this looks like as tied to Cristobal. Cristobal's low is all the way out here. You can see that we're starting to get some thunderstorm action associated with it. However, look at the amount of deep thunderstorm action that we have pumping in towards Florida, and the big blowup of thunderstorms right in here. That's the severe warned and tornadic warned storms near Orlando. So Jackie, again, 2 times in about an hour with confirmed tornadoes moving through the Orlando area.
And now we have some video just into the Weather Channel of the tornado that hit Orlando earlier. This was the previous warning, so keep that in mind. This happened just a little bit over an hour ago, and there you can clearly see rotation within that storm and a funnel. It's very difficult to see whether or not that is hitting the ground. I do know that there has been some damage, and I've seen some video of transformers that have blown. So there you can see definitely tornado and funnel that was spotted there. That was earlier. This is what's happening right now. And the concern is that it's nighttime and we've got some really heavy rain that's coming down. So if indeed there is another tornado associated with this, and it sounds like there is, at least one was spotted earlier near Universal Studios, that it may be very difficult to see. So this view you can see is very difficult to pick out much. We've got a building there. You know, you can maybe see some lights from the streets from this as well. So a dangerous situation right now breaking in Orlando, Florida, where we've had a confirmed tornado on the ground about 10 minutes or so ago, and a tornado warning is continuing at this time, and this will likely be moving through the downtown area. So this is all in relation to Tropical Storm Cristobal. We'll get these feeder bands and these outside bands that can have some rotation in them. Tropical systems, you know, have a lot of vorticity, and then when we get that friction as these bands make their way over land, we can get these brief spin ups. You know, Mark, a lot of times they can be brief, but they definitely can cause damage. So even though we don't have watches tonight, we do have some storms that have been spinning up, and we've got what looks like 2 confirmed tornadoes already.
Yeah, gosh, what an evening all of a sudden around the Orlando metro area. I want to take a brief moment to talk a little bit about what has occurred already in the Orlando area. These are the storm reports that have popped up from the past, couple of hours. And look at this. We have several reports of funnels, and these red icons indicate tornadoes. So it would not surprise me at all if we have some more either on the south side or the north side of the Orlando area before we're done here, because we have these warned storms with confirmed reports of tornadoes. Let's just see what these particular reports are talking about. We've got this one on the south side when a tornado was observed via a live camera. A TV news channel was there crossing the 408. Now, that was the one from earlier. And so that is just to give you an idea of how busy it has been right around the Orlando area. Here's what's going on right now. We still have this tornado warning in place. This is a confirmed tornado for the Orlando metro area, including Orange and Seminole counties, goes until 9:30, right through the heart of Orlando. Certainly Altamonte Springs, where there is even more of a circulation there on the north side, and Pine Hills included in this as well. Let's take a look at the high resolution radar. This happens to be coming from the Melbourne area. And when you have a signature like this with a big curl of storms that's moving through the area, there's a lot of wind energy with this. A lot of you are seeing straight line winds. But it's the proverbial what goes up must come down analogy. When you have that much wind surging forward, there's also a component wind coming back in towards the storm, that inflow. And where those tangle with each other, you get these little kinks in the line, the little dog legs. Those are areas of enhanced spin. So right now there is one warning that is basically covering 2 of those areas of more organized spin. This one on the north side has been a little bit more put together. There is a lot of straight line wind energy going on the south side, or really right through Orlando. A little bit closer in for you, and you can see some other towns popping up, Altamonte Springs, for example. And with that motion of the raindrops, I think both of those have kind of stretched out or opened up a little bit, not as put together as where we were even a couple minutes ago. So that is some good news. But right in here, there's a wind shift, and you can get a spin-up tornado on that leading flank at just about any point. There's that kink in the line right in here, just outside of the Orlando area now. You can make the argument that I-4 itself and through Orlando is now basically in the clear with regards to intense tornadic activity. You still have a lot of wind and rain moving through, but that wind shift zone has now crossed over and through Orlando. So we're starting to say, okay, if you're far enough on the southwest side, you're probably no longer in as much of a risk as, say, the areas in the northeast side of this warning. We can show you Orlando, where that heavy rain is moving through. Very strong winds, lots of rain out there. The cars have the high-speed wipers, low-speed driving, if you will, going at this point, because, gosh, it is really coming down. But no stranger to those intense thunderstorms. So hopefully the drivers are used to that. They know what to do. They're slowing down. They're familiar with the roads. But it gives you an idea of the strength of this storm, how often we're seeing the lightning flashes here, how heavy that rain is, and how low the visibility has become. At any point within this warning, we could have more spin-up tornadoes, and this will not be the last of the tornado warnings. This is a trend. This is a hint. The atmosphere is suggesting that there's some shear across central Florida right now, which will only increase in North Florida and certainly along the northern Gulf Coast as we go through the next couple of days. This is directly tied to that large circulation from our tropical storm. Tropical Storm Cristobal continues to organize in the Gulf. We'll bring you all the updates, both on our tropical storm and any severe or tornado warnings through the rest of the evening.
Is that net carbs or total? Not enough fiber. Chocolate would be good.
Snacking should be sweet and simple. The delicious taste of Lucerna gives you the sweetness you crave while helping you manage your blood sugar with nutrients to help support immune health. Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water. Look for kids packs from Nestle Pure Life. Fun designs and a perfect size just for your kids.
As business moves forward, we're all changing the way things get done. Like how we redefine collaboration, how we come up with new ways to serve our customers and deliver our products.
This one is cheddar. It's delicious. Oh, you look so healthy.
But no matter how things change, one thing never will. You can rely on the people and the network of AT&T to help keep your business connected.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal in a confidant.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With